The only thing that I had going for me was that I was crazy and that I had been spending most of my high school years fighting. My parents, my mom worked, my stepdad was a really good guy, but no one was ever around. There was no, and when they were done working, everybody was tired. I was a latchkey kid, When I was like 7 years old, I lived in San Francisco. I would go out and do a magic show on Fisherman's Wharf by myself. Just wander around the city. They would open the door, you just leave. 7. Yeah. I was scared of this one kid. Oh, so bad. This one kid, one of the reasons why I got into wrestling, this kid, we had this confrontation in a locker room, and I didn't think we were going to fight. I was just totally bluffing. I don't know what I said or what he said, I don't remember, but I do remember him getting me in a headlock, throwing me on the ground, and then leaning like he was gonna punch me in the face, but deciding not to. And I didn't know what to do. I had no martial arts skills, no nothing. I'd never wrestled anybody before. I didn't know anything. I thought, shit, I didn't think he was gonna do that. And now here I am on my back, I'm trapped. God damn it, I gotta learn how to wrestle. I gotta learn some martial arts or something. So then I started taking karate, and then I started taking wrestling, right after that. But I avoided that kid every time I saw him.
And I really want to punch him in the face.
I mean, if someone could hold you down like that dude could have beat my face in. I wouldn't have been able to do shit. Martial arts helped me with that tremendously. It's the first thing that I ever did where people respected me and they liked me for it. I'm like, wow, this is it was a feeling that I was completely unused to in the 14 previous years of my life. All of a sudden there was this feeling that I was unusual, I was unique, I was special, a natural inclination towards it. And I was obsessed with it. So I was training every day, all day long. And then my instructor recognized it really early on, so he allowed me to train there for free.
I'm being trained by the most deadly martial arts sensei in town.
And I would teach classes, and teaching classes helped me a lot as well, because when you're teaching, you're breaking down techniques, and when you're showing someone how to do it, you're really cementing those pathways in your own mind.
This is just some of the best mixed martial arts you'll ever see.
I went to Mass Bay Community College. I did it after a whole year. I took a whole year off, and I only went back to school because I didn't want people thinking I was a loser.
He is not a loser.
So I did maybe one semester at Mass Bay. I don't even think I finished the semester. And then I left and went to UMass. UMass Boston had this adult education program where you didn't have to have a GED or not GED, SAT, because I never took my SATs. So when I graduated from high school, I'm like, I am never going to school again. Fuck this.
Look, Dad, I don't need school.
But I got so tired of feeling like a fucking loser. When I tell people I would always say I was taking a year off.
I want to take a year off.
Yeah, but I just had no direction. All I was doing was doing martial arts and competing. And I just was so terrified of what the fuck the future laid.
What's your life? What are you doing?
And so I went to UMass for 3 years, but not 3 full years. It was there was still a lot of credits to be acquired if I was going to graduate. And I just was wasting my time. I was barely paying attention. I was completely half-assing whatever project we had. And then I was realizing, why am I wasting my time?
Yeah. And college sucked, man.
Yeah, well, I had a conversation with a science teacher. This science teacher, and it was the same kind of thing. I mocked him in class. Not necessarily mocked him, but I brought up something that was contrary to what he was teaching. He was talking about Lake Erie being a dead lake. And I said, listen, man, they had a documentary on PBS last night about Lake Erie making a resurgence. And these scientists have figured out these new ways to minimize water pollution and all this shit. And other kids are looking at me what the fuck? And he got pissed at me.
You are interrupting my class.
He got really pissed at me, and he said, you're undermining my class and this and that. I go, hey man, you're teaching old shit.
In return, I'd like to teach you.
Yeah. Are you teaching old? This is on TV, man. This is on TV yesterday.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with him afterwards, and because I had to talk to him in order to get back in the class. He kicked me out of the class.
Get out of my class.
And he said 2 things. He said, one, first of all, I don't know whether or not that was the case, whether or not it's true. And if I allow you to just interrupt my class and chime in something like that, and it's not true, I haven't fact checked it, you're telling the whole class, and I don't know if you're right or you're wrong or you're making things up, but you're interrupting my class. That's the point.
It's disrespectful.
If you have something to tell me about it, maybe you could tell me about it after the class,
Class dismissed.
and then I can go and look it up, and then maybe I can correct the class. He goes, but 2, in interrupting the class, you showed yourself to be more articulate and more intelligent than you ever showed ever in the entire semester. So you're totally half-assing everything you do. Like your writing, everything, paper you turn in, every test you do, every time I call upon you for a question, totally half-assed that. But when you wanted to correct me on something, all of a sudden you knew all the words, you knew how to form the sentence correctly, you knew how to say it with the right impact. He's like, your focus is off.
Damn, I gotta get my shit together.
I was like, God damn, that dude's on the money. And I realized, I'm like, yeah, so I'm not stupid, right? I can't listen.
Life's going pretty cool right now, but I gotta stop dating bimbos. It's like the biggest problem I have in my life right now. So I date too many bimbos. But bimbos are good to date every now and then because they're low maintenance, right?
I got talked into doing stand-up by my friends from martial arts.
Girl was guarding the front door by herself. What are you trying to say? That women can't do everything men can do? Exactly.
I knew one thing. I couldn't work like a regular job. Like I had to figure out something else. Because like there's the idea of, it was literally the idea of being in an office was like torture.
Oh, hell no.
And so when I was getting into like really into kickboxing was like 20 into 21. And at the same time, I was thinking about doing stand-up because I was already doing comedy at the time. And I was starting to realize like, I got to pick one or the other.
Yeah, you have to choose.
Oh, come on, man. Stand-up comedian?
What's up? What's going on, huh?
There was about a baseball team and I was the guy who was always causing trouble and wrecking his car and going crazy. That was me. I looked like a baby.
What is wrong with you? You look like you're 11 years old. You seen any good movies lately?
Me, I don't go to movies. I don't like movies. Most movies suck.
He did not just... Did you just say that?
I got a call from my manager, and it was essentially saying, all right, there's this thing that we got an offer for. I'm sure you're not going to want to do this, but...
You know what boxing is? Well, boxing is a very limited form of fighting. It's kind of a silly agreement. Say, like, we hate each other.
Let's go up to Joe Rogan. Joe?
I'm here live with Victor. Congratulations, Victor. Unbelievable victory.
I actually had to quit because it was costing me money. Because, like, if I would go to do a UFC, I don't remember how much I made. It wasn't that much to do the interview stuff. But then if I could do a comedy gig, I could make like $2,000 for a weekend.
I gotta make some money, man.
What's coming up? Fear Factor has been known for dreaming up some of the most outrageous and insane stunts.
It was a preposterous show, like from the jump, and I always thought it was going to be canceled, and it was a giant hit. It was a giant hit.
Huge show.
And like immediately, it was a hit. I was like, this is so stupid. The show is so stupid. When I was on like season 5 of Fear Factor, I remember thinking, I don't know how much longer I can do this. Same thing over and over again. We did 148 episodes.
I do not want to do this.
It gave me the ability to not worry about like having money in the bank. Because I don't have like extravagant tastes. I'm not too ridiculous with money, but I like feeling like I don't have to worry. I had to move from Colorado back to LA, and I was bummed out. I was like, I thought I escaped. I thought I got out of LA. I was living in the mountains. I was like, this is what I want. I want to be in nature. I was like, I don't want to be back in this fucking hellhole. I'm like, all right, let's do something. And so we started doing podcasts. We are broadcasting live. This is my office. This is Brian Reichel, aka Red Band.
Hello, world.
That's how this whole thing started.
That's how it all started.
When Brian and I were first doing this podcast and we were doing it on like Ustream, we would have 200 viewers.
That's all I had.
I'm here with Duncan Trussell, ladies and gentlemen. Duncan Trussell has joined the podcast. But the actual image is from, it's one of the Jimi Hendrix Experience, which is where I stole the name for this podcast.
You are such a naughty boy.
Tim Ferriss is here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Sam Harris, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining me, man. This is really cool. I have an announcement. The podcast is moving to Spotify.
Okay. How do we do it?
It just, those feelings of failure are so hard. They're so hard to get over, and they overwhelm people, and some people can't get past them. And then every time some new thing comes up, when you have to rise to the occasion, you have to perform, you think about that time you failed, and it fucks your head up, man. You think, I'm a fucking loser, I can't do this, I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna fuck up, you know? Like bombing. Like, how many times have you had a bad set, and you're like, God damn it, I suck at comedy, I can't do this. I can't do this. I suck at comedy.
What if I'm not good enough?
Yeah, it's dangerous to dwell on past mistakes because people sort of define themselves by the worst moments that they've ever had. And if that's the case, like, some people are stuck in high school. You know, they're stuck in failures that they had, like, when they were first getting jobs, and they always think that they're a loser, and they don't like the feeling of failure, so they keep low expectations so that they never have to feel that. You got to get through it. You got to get through bad feelings. You got to get through failure. It's very important. And you get through it by just picking yourself back up and moving forward and going. But it's hard for a lot of people because that sting, they never get over it, the feeling of failure.
You got to learn how to push through it.
And they don't have a good support system, like good friends. Like, having a good community of friends is very, very important, because you could feel like down, like if a girl broke up with you and you feel like you're the worst, you're a fucking loser, like you're a piece of shit.
I don't think this is gonna work.
But then you go out with your friends and you have a few laughs, and next thing you know, you're laughing and you're like, I'm all right. We'll be all right. And then maybe you meet a new lady. You're like, you can't just go it alone. You really do need each other.
I got you back.
And like, if you accomplish everything you ever want to accomplish, but nobody's there with you, nobody cares, nobody likes you, that don't mean shit. It's useless.
Absolutely.
Like, love is the most important thing, and that sounds so cliche, but without love, it's all useless. It's all useless. There's no personal satisfaction in accomplishments if nobody loves you. You're not going to enjoy it. That's why there's so many self-help books. That's why there's so many motivational documentaries and motivational Instagram pages, is because people need stuff like that. They need something.
I think she needs something to motivate her.
Generally, the best version of it is coming from someone who's experienced fuck-ups and got through it. You don't find someone for a long time, and then when you do, it changes your whole life. You find someone, maybe it's just a YouTube video, and it's you saying it's still your motherfucking set, and it's you just pushing people and telling people to go get after it, and people see that, and all of a sudden it's like they get goosebumps, their heart starts racing. It's like you gave them a drug, like you gave them fuel.
I really feel like I can do this.
And then they want to change their life. And then they want to watch you tomorrow. And then they want to watch you when they're at lunch break. They want to watch you, they're taking a shit. You know, they're watching you on their phone. But that's fuel. And you literally can change a person's life through that. Because we need each other. I mean, it's one more piece of evidence that we need each other, and that we have this sort of very strange, loose-fitted community of all human beings together. When someone like you does something that's exceptional and says something that's exceptional and has these inspirational words, it can change a person's whole life.
He is so right.
What people are trying to do is be successful. And I don't think they necessarily equate success with happiness, but what they do equate success with is an alleviation of debt.
I paid my debt.
An alleviation of problems, and alleviation of a lot of the issues that people face.
Certainly.
And they think of that as, if you look at the problems that you have when you're growing up, you look at the especially if you grow up in a poor family, one of the main problems that you face is you're worried about paying your bills.
I got bills to pay.
So you say, someday I'm going to get to a point where that is no longer an issue. I'm going to make it. I'm going to be successful.
I'm going to be that guy someday.
Well, the opportunity takes place usually when you're young and you don't have any responsibility. That's when you have your options. Well, your options are severely limited the more you gather responsibilities.
You have responsibility. You don't talk to me about responsibilities.
Like, if I had to, as a 51-year-old father of 3, married man, pays taxes, has a house and a mortgage and a business and all that jazz, if I had to quit everything now and struggle the way I struggled as a stand-up comedian, it would never work.
It's pointless.
But the only way I could be this person now is if I took that chance when I was 21, when I was dead broke and had my cars repossessed and all that stuff. That's the only way you ever get where you want to go. You have to take a path that's dangerous.
You took a big chance, and it took guts, and I'm proud of it.
And most people want to take the safe path. And the safe path leaves you stuck in quiet desperation almost every time. It's hell. It's hell. You're selling insurance or some other shit that you care zero about. And I've been that guy. You're just in this world where you just can't wait to just run away.
I hate this job.
That they can be someone like you too if they put in the kind of time and effort that you put in. That's the real message. The real message is we all started from nowhere. I mean, we all had bullshit jobs. We all felt like losers.
But I believe that hard work pays off.
But through time and effort, you build a stronger human. You build a stronger body. You build a stronger mind. You build accomplishments and will and momentum. And then you look back and you go, hey man, I'm not washing tables anymore. You know, I'm not washing dishes. I'm not cutting lawns. I'm not digging ditches.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a different person now.
Yep.
The hard part is getting up that fucking hill. Especially if you got a dad you're hiding from. Especially if you feel like you're a loser. Or you never really had anything in your life that you could look back on and say, hey, I was really good at that. You know, and there's a lot of people out there listening to this. There's so many people that are in that starting point. Like the people that come up to you and say, I don't know what to do. What should I do? How do I do it?
Yeah.
How do I get going? Well, you're going to have to figure it out, one foot in front of the other.
Exactly.
You're going to have to find a thing and keep working at it and get better at it.
Doesn't happen overnight.
So for a few months, I was staying with my grandmother who was on death's door she lived like a year or so after I moved out. And she wasn't really aware of me anymore. She was not quite there anymore. And my grandfather, who was struggling to take care of her and just seemed sad.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, man, this life is temporary. Like this experience that I'm experiencing right now as a 24-year-old man, like this is not going to last. Like this is the prime of my youth. And it like hardened my ideas that like, you got to get going.
Wow.
This is going to happen to you too. It's going to happen to all of us. And you think that you're this static thing, like you stay in the same exact state. It's not true. It's an illusion. All those people that you see that are old people that are walking down the street with their backs hunched over, that you're going to reach that age someday. It's going to happen. And if you don't pay attention and it all goes wrong, you could wind up looking like that guy. You could wind up thinking and behaving like that guy. It is a slow ebbing of the life force of the body that's gonna drain you.
I'm not hard, man. Waiting to die alone.
So, God damn it, get your fun out.
Yeah.
Get your life out. Just live. You got to live.
Take action.
It's fucking coming. And you got to remember, because if you don't remember, you're going to sleep in. If you don't remember, you're not going to get anything done. If you don't remember, you're not going to have the same focus and determination that you would have with the understanding this is a temporary experience.